In Deuteronomy 22:13-21, the Bible describes what should happen if a woman is accused of not being a virgin after her wedding. If a man takes a wife and, after sleeping with her, dislikes her and slanders her and gives her a bad name, saying, "I married this woman, but when I approached her I did not find proof of her virginity," then the young woman's father and mother shall bring to the town elders at the gate proof that she was a virgin. Her father will say to the elders, "I gave my daughter in marriage to this man, but he dislikes her. Now he has slandered her and said, 'I did not find your daughter to be a virgin, but here is the proof of my daughter's virginity.' Then her parents shall display the cloth before the elders of the town, and the elders shall take the man and punish him. They shall fine him 100 shekels of silver and give them to the young woman's father, because this man has given an Israelite virgin a bad name. She shall continue to be his wife. He must not divorce her as long as he lives. If, however, the charge is true and no proof of the young woman's virginity can be found, she shall be brought to the door of her father's house, and there the men of her town shall stone her to death. She has done an outrageous thing in Israel by being promiscuous while still in her father's house. You must purge this evil from among you." Here's Tecton TV's attempt to defend this biblical nastiness.
Oh, wonderful. It's yet another ridiculous barbaric passage from the Bible. We Christians need to just stop making excuses and recognize this stuff for what it is. Pure Bronze Age garbage.
Oh, wonderful. Is yet another bigoted fundy atheist taking a passage out of time and context.
That drawing is supposed to be Sam Harris, but it looks unintentionally flattering to me. Sam Harris does not look that jacked. Also, in what context could executing a woman for not being a virgin possibly be justified?
I don't care how many contexts you try and use to clean this up. The man sure has it easy if he's the one who screws up. How come he doesn't get executed for lying, huh?
That's a very silly question to ask. The question a sensible person should ask is, why the fuck should anybody be executed for lying about whether someone is or is not a virgin?
Tell you what, go outside and play in the traffic while the adults talk, okay? Thanks. Now, I know a lot of fundy atheists like to say I make this stuff up. So if any of them ever feel like leaving their coloring books for a minute, they can check out this article to get some idea where I get all of what follows from. Next, we need to remind fundy atheists of a few other things. Sam says the man gets off easy if he lies. Well, not quite.
I don't know if Sam Harris has actually said this, but the problem with this biblical prescription is not that the man gets off easy. The problem is that the woman is treated far too harshly. Lying about being a virgin is not something about which anybody should be punished at all, let alone executed for. If the guy has hang-ups about being married to a non-virgin, he should simply get the marriage annulled.
If you reach over to this passage in a different part of Deuteronomy, and you read it carefully, you'll figure out that if the husband testified falsely, it's quite possible he'd be the one to get executed. More than that, the stated punishment on the man is a rock-solid example of this principle. The first part of the punishment amounts to a reversal of the wedding dowry, plus the same amount as recompense for the fact that it will be harder for the bride to get into a second marriage. The second amounts to a full break on his attempt to get out of the marriage against the woman he slandered. The assumption being that the guy married the girl for no other reason than to get his hands on the dowry. Pretty straightforward.
Wait a minute. So does the guy get executed, or does the guy just have to man up and pay back?
Did you finish playing in traffic yet? Beat it. Now the question here is one we touched on in this series, where we explained that the law codes of the A&E were didactic. Legal systems in that culture, as Wells puts it, allowed the same infraction to be punished with different penalties. The wrong party often had the right to choose which penalty or penalties to impose on the offending party. A husband who had been wronged by pre-consummation sex plus deception thus had a range of penalties from which to choose, including death, but also lesser penalties.
It doesn't sound like the husband had a range of penalties from which to choose. It says, "She has done an outrageous thing in Israel by being promiscuous while still in her father's house. You must purge the evil from among you." That's the bit you left out. You must purge the evil from among you. That sounds much more like the death penalty is a mandatory minimum. But even if the execution were merely one option among many, that would be indefensible. To everyone who helps me out on Patreon, you're a big help. Thanks so much.